What up, y'all? This video is about building your dreams and why it's a bad idea to follow your dreams or to, believe all the hype about, oh yeah, don't go after, don't do mundane, boring work. Just whatever you want to do in your life, just go after it. You want to be an actor, a writer, a producer, stand-up comedian. These creative arts and artists are very difficult. They're very difficult to be successful in. For every one person who is successful, there are probably tens or fifties of thousands of people who don't make it, but we never hear those stories. We always only hear the stories about the one person that made it, and then you have tens, 20s, hundreds of thousands of people who think they can do the same thing when it's just not in the cards for them, okay? Now, I think people, if you start when you're very young, or if you just are extremely talented and are booking job after job and making a lot of money, that's a different story. But if, your talent isn't that great, or, there are things getting in the way of you pursuing it, or, or you just you started too late, it's like you shouldn't have that as your priority, okay? Like I said, there are exceptions to the rule. If you're extremely talented and you're just booking stuff left and right, you're making money left and right, that's obviously an exception. But anyway, the first reason why I think you shouldn't follow your dreams or make it a priority in your life, the number one priority, is because when you are following a dream, usually you hear this term, this phrase bandied around, like, oh, if you have a backup plan, then you should just do the backup plan. And I just think that is a lie. And that's why I think it's almost like a cult-like mentality, like, oh no, these lies that they deceive people with. Forget everything else, sacrifice everything else, and just only focus on your dream. And sometimes that works, but a lot of times it doesn't, because life gets in the way. It's very difficult. You have to survive. Usually in these places where you can pursue these arts, it's like they're very expensive places. Okay, so we hear these things about that if you have a backup plan, you should just do the backup plan. But no, because the problem is, when you're focusing so heavily on these dreams, it's like you build your life around these dreams. Like I said, you move to New York, you move to Los Angeles, which is where I live in Los Angeles, or you live in these places that are super expensive, and you start building your life around these things. Now, the problem with building your life around these things is that you don't focus on things that you are guaranteed success in. There are other things in life that will guarantee you success. Becoming as independent as possible. If you, have a piece of land and you can grow your own food, and you can, do all these things and support yourself without help, then those are things that guarantee that you're going to be okay. Whereas if you follow your dream and you build your life around your dream and don't focus on anything else, then if it doesn't work out, if you don't become successful at it, then you are just screwed, Whereas if you focus on these other things and have your dream as the secondary priority, then at least you'll have something there for you if you don't succeed in your dream. Okay, so that's basically one, building your life around this dream, and not having any time for these other things that you'll be better off in the future. Second thing is like wasted youth. You know what I mean? It's like you spend all your entire youth, pursuing this thing, and then when you get older, it's like, oh man, all of that time that I had, I didn't use it. I didn't use it on the most important things, and I'll get into that more a little later. But it's like, you sacrifice when you're young through your youth. You sacrifice, and you don't do things that are beneficial for your life because you're so focused on your dream. And then you get older and you're like, man, all that time I could have been doing this other thing. Okay, so all your naysayers can say I told you so. So you have family members, friends, these people. I mean, obviously you have people who believe in you, people who are like, yeah, that's so brave of you to do that. Not everybody can go out there and pursue their dreams. But then you have the people who are like, who tell you need to, our life, it's, the chances are against you, basically. Like, the chances are against you, so why are you doing it? It's like, all of those people who said that, all the people, who didn't believe that you can do it, who always brought you down, and who basically they can say, like, I told you so, like, you should have listened to me. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Like, yeah, I admit when I make mistakes, I admit when I'm wrong, but it's kind of dumb to give people the opportunity to do that. So it'd probably be smarter to be like, okay, let me make that secondary and do the right thing, and then if I succeed, then or if I don't succeed, I'm not going to have people being like, hey, remember when I told you you should actually get a real job and pursue something that is real. Anyway, so the next reason is you see your family a lot less. That's my case anyway. Like when I was in the Air Force, I used to go every month. I used to go almost every month. I was only 4 hours away. I was stable. I had money. I had, everything I needed. So I was able to go every month to go see my family, at least, or maybe every couple months. But a lot of times it was every month I would go see my family and go hang out with my family. Since moving to LA, I'm lucky to go once a year, which is crazy, and it kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. When you're pursuing your dream, you're trying to survive, you're trying to struggle, try to pay the bills, trying to find motivation, all these things, trying to just life throwing these things at you, all these obstacles, and it's just a lot harder to see the family, which really stinks, obviously, because like I said, earlier, you miss out on the most important things in life, and family is one of them. Family is one of the, if not the most important things in life. So that is a big one. Wasted youth, wasted time, wasted, just time you could be with your family. Okay, so it sucks struggling when you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It sucks struggling when you don't have to. Bills, mills, and thrills, okay? So, like, struggling to pay the bills, struggling to find meals, and struggling to have thrills, which is basically like vacation, free time, going to the beach, roller rink, whatever you do, going to the movies, having fun, hanging out with friends. It's like you have less time to do that because you're so focused on this dream and going after it and paying your bills, and it's like you always have to be working. It's like when you always have to work, you don't have time for anything else. And a lot of times when you're struggling and you have to pay the bills, I mean, unless you're able to live for free, if then that's kind of a different story. But if you have to pay rent, if you have to pay your car payment, phone bill, like all this stuff, then that is going to be difficult to do, and you're going to have to be working constantly and have very little time for, what did I say? Thrills, mills, and bills, thrills, and chill. Okay. Let's see. Okay, for men, it's harder to find a mate when you're struggling financially. Obviously as a male, as a man. So this, I mean, I guess this doesn't apply to women, females, but for men, it's like you are supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be the man, you're supposed to know how to succeed in life and bring in, enough to support a family. And if you're not able to do that, I mean, what girl is really going to want you? What girl worth her weight is going to want you, unless they really believe in you and really see what how strong of a person you are and what you're willing to do. But I mean, even getting to that point is difficult. I mean, obviously you can go for the bottom of the barrel and just get, these women who are, they could be crazy, they could be, um, low self-esteem, they could have a lot of baggage, a lot of issues, and it's that would is for a whole nother video pretty much because yeah, picking your mate, is very difficult. Obviously, you want to find someone who you're on the same page with, who is not wrapped up in social media, who's not wrapped up in this world, who's not like all about themselves, arrogant. You don't want anyone high maintenance. You don't want anyone who is indulgent, like too indulgent, like all these different things. And, so it's very difficult even when you're okay financially to find someone, let alone when you're struggling financially. Because obviously, if you find the right woman, it's going to be difficult if you're struggling financially. So the next reason is like you put off getting married and having kids. It's like a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men are in this situation. They're getting older, they are older, and they're not married and they don't have kids, and they're not understanding why that's the case, and they feel bad that they sometimes they feel bad that they made the wrong choices, but sometimes they can't put two and two together and see that the choices you made are the reason your life is the way it is. That's with everything in your life. The way your life is now is because of the decisions you made in the past. Some people don't want to see that. Some people will see it. But yeah, it's it's just a thing. You put it off because you're so focused on this other thing. Okay, 9 or this is 8. I think becomes even harder when you're older. So you waste your youth. You don't get you find it difficult to pay the bills, to have meals and get the thrills. But as you get older, and then everything becomes more difficult because you don't have youth on your side. So not only is it more difficult to succeed, to work, to do all these things, it's also more difficult to it makes it that much more difficult to find a mate. Okay, because it's not only are you financially struggling, but now you're older, and it's like it's a double whammy, right? Because obviously a woman, if she has the choice, she's going to go with a younger guy or someone who's financially better well off. So it's kind of a double whammy. As you get older, it just makes it more difficult, makes survival more difficult, it makes finding a mate more difficult. The good thing about being a man, and no offense to the ladies, is that men could produce their whole lives, and unfortunately I think women have a certain amount of time, so that makes it even more difficult for women. So it is possible to find someone, obviously, but it's just more difficult. Okay, so all in all, it's just basically like missing out on all the important things in life because you're spending all your time focused on pursuing this dream. Okay, I mean, I've heard plenty of stories about people who, going back to this, if you have a backup plan, then you should just follow the backup plan. I've heard like a bunch of stories about people who found success later in life, who who wanted to be in the industry, who wanted to be an actor, director, writer, whatever, and was like, and the person that one of the people that I've heard this from said that I wanted to be a director, a film director, but I liked money more. You know what I'm saying? So he became a lawyer, had his family, his wife, his kids, and he became very financially successful because he was an entertainment lawyer. So then when he was so well off financially, he was like, okay, I'm going to pursue directing, and he became super successful in directing. So it's like, so it's not the rule that if you have a backup plan, you should go on the backup plan. That's like cult-like mentality. But yeah, there's plenty of stories of people succeeding, after putting off their dream, okay, or making it a secondary thing in their life, or you just even not even like people just not even wanting to be in these industries, and then just it happening to them. It's almost like when you're not pursuing it, it's almost like that's when you get it. But when you're pursuing it, it's like it doesn't come. For thousands and thousands of people, obviously there are people who make it, but so in conclusion, I think the best thing we can do is position first. Okay, position first. It's like a wrestling term. When you're wrestling, you want to get the position. Okay, when you're no longer, there's no threat of you being reversed, like them being able to reverse you. Because if you don't have position and you're trying to do all these things and they just reverse you, it's like then you're on the bottom and you're going to lose. You have a higher likelihood of losing. So make sure you have your position. Make sure you have them down. Make sure that they can't reverse you. And once you get that, then you can start to work. Okay, and that's the same thing. Like in pursuing stuff, it's like make sure you get position first. When you build a house, what do you need? You need a strong foundation. Okay, the pig that made his house out of straw, the house got blew down. Okay, the pig that made his house out of bricks, nothing happened. He was successful in life. Okay, so build your house out of bricks, get that strong foundation, and then pursue it. So yeah, position first. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's crazy, we're told this stuff. I kind of feel like I was on the TISM, when I was younger. It was pretty strong. It was really strong, so I think I didn't understand. I wasn't aware of a lot of things. So I think that's another reason why it took me so long to figure stuff out. But yeah, I didn't listen to people either who said I should do these other things. We always think we know it all, So, but if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have built my life around this dream because of what happened in 2020. It was 2020, right? 2019, 2020. I think it was 2020. But that like destroyed everything, I felt like I was on an upward trajectory in becoming an actor. I booked a low budget feature film. I was on the incline, and that happened, and it just threw a wrench in everything, and that obviously made me think about a lot of stuff during all this time. Obviously that was like 5-6 years ago, so it's been a long time, but it started making me think. The wheels turn, and seeing the priorities and what would have been the best route if I knew this thing that happened was going to happen. Or it's like, it's not if, it's when something's going to happen, because something always happens. So it's always good to be prepared for whatever happens. And if I would have focused on building my life around position first and building a house out of bricks, then I think I would be in a lot better position than I am now. But yeah, those are the reasons why I think that you should make your dream a secondary in your life and not the primary focus. Okay, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys agree with me? Do you think you should put it off and not go after it until you have a strong foundation? Or do you think you should just throw caution to the wind and everything I said is complete nonsense, and you should just not have a backup plan and just go full steam ahead for your dream? let me know. Let's have a discussion on this and figure out the best route. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Stop.